Good afternoon to all. Let me extend a very hearty welcome on behalf of all of us, the entire DST family, to the Honorable Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. As we know that he is a minister not only for science and technology and earth sciences, but also for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. We are very grateful to him to take time out from this very busy, uber busy schedule during the time of virus. And I also welcome each and every one of you, the entire DST family, for being here with us today. As we know that this is the 49th Foundation Day of DST, which means we enter the 50th year of our operation. It's been a bedrock of science, technology and innovation in the country. Any story on science, technology that we read, that we hear about, that we feel good about in the country, directly or indirectly, DST has had a contribution to that story. So indeed it's very heartening that we should now go forward even with greater resolve, with greater strength and intensity and scale. So this is, of course, we'll have this entire year also devoted to taking stock of where we are, where we should be and how to get there. This is an ongoing exercise in which all of us are stakeholders. Indeed, there are very wide spectrum of stakeholders of DST, all the way from school children to college, to PhD, to scientists, to senior researchers, to farmers, to NGOs, to startups, to industry. So it is indeed covers everything from atoms to astrophysics and everything in between, based on the relevance, based on the competitiveness, based on the quality, so it's been a great journey, and together we can, well, so far we have served some 4 or 5 generations of scientists in this country, and together we would continue to serve many more with resolve, with commitment. Today's meeting is focused more tightly on our COVID-19 preparations and our contributions and achievements. Of course, it's only been a month and a half that we started working on this problem, but we already have some compelling contributions, and we would share those with Honorable Minister and take his guidance on further moving forward. Of course, not all institutes of DST are focused or have strengths in biology, because all the way from geomagnetism to astrophysics to everything else, but whoever has expertise and strength in biological sciences or life sciences have been totally devoted to this particular cause and working on it. In DST, within DST itself, I counted today morning, there were 11 fronts on which war on COVID-19 activities have been going on. I would just, because time is not much, so in 1 minute I would summarize these 11 fronts to see actually any of us can contribute to these 11 themes, or anything outside of it is very welcome to discuss with us. So the first one is the basic science approach, which is modeling and simulation of the pandemic, looking for the biomarkers, new biomarkers for rapid diagnostics, pathophysiology of the disease and the modes of transmission and everything else is being done by SERB, Science and Engineering Research Board. National Entrepreneurship Board has done a mapping of all the startups and the relevant startups, out of which now 50 startups are going to be funded in a wide spectrum of products and technologies relevant to COVID-19. Technology Development Board is supporting industry or companies that have indigenous proven technology but needs to be scaled up. For example, if a company is making 30,000 kits a day today and they want to scale up to 1 lakh kits for PCR per day, one such company has already been supported, and more than a dozen companies that need to scale up quickly are under consideration. Survey of India has prepared a new geospatial platform that would allow in terms of supply chains, in terms of distribution, in terms of finding the nearest facilities and so on. So they're very useful. Seed division of DST has called on all the NGOs that we are supporting, 30 mid and large size NGOs that have a network all over the country to get to people information which is required, to get to people to train the trainers for making masks, for making disinfectants, for telling people about distancing measures, basically a grassroots movement getting to people what they need. NCSTC has started science communication related to COVID-19, and today Honorable Minister would release one of these books which is related to COVID-19 that everybody, the common people need to know. There is a program made every day, an update on COVID-19 which is put on India Science internet TV channel. So I request everybody to popularize that channel. It's very good. It's got all science programs, and every day there is an update on COVID-19. TIFAC is preparing a white paper on how to strengthen our economy, the technology aspect, how to scale up new things, how to make use of supply chain, logistics and so on. So it's a very comprehensive paper being prepared by TIFAC, which would be useful now and going beyond after the lockdown period, as well as for preparations for lockdown, partial lockdowns. NIF has given a call to all people, whether they are farmers, women, rural people, to contribute their ideas about the everyday solutions for COVID-19. Program Satyam that we have had, which is the science and technology of yoga and meditation, has a special call out which would scientifically investigate the certain kind of yoga and meditation practices which would be helpful in one of the three things: boosting immunity, or stress and worry reduction, and support for the respiratory system. So these are three things which are relevant in the COVID-19 context, and so this particular thing, yoga and meditation, but scientifically, looking at it to see what works, what does not work, what is efficient, what is not. And then finally the international connects. So we are now working with, already a call out with, working with the US collaboratively in order to find common solutions. And finally, we are all here, the family, the autonomous institutions, they are doing a great job. There's an 11th front, the last but not the least, and many of us have done great, and we are going to present to Honorable Minister very quickly each institute, selected ones in 3 minutes each or 4 minutes each, about what is the thrust of their work related to this, so we can also get the guidance from there. So I will just conclude that there are huge challenges to accelerate the pace of development, and how science and technology can be the major player in rebuilding right beyond the times of virus, by doing profound and relevant research and development and innovation. So two keywords that we would emphasize going forward in the future is the relevance and quality. And then we have learned a lot of things in this time: speed, the value of speed, the value of collaboration, the value of problem solving with transparency and accountability. And that would become the new normal for our growth going forward in the future. We would also have, in this 50th year of DST, we plan several books. One book would be related to autonomous institutions and their contributions and their achievements and their aspirations, and we want it to be a totally scientific chronology, scientific account of what we have been able to contribute. Not just an official kind of book, not written just like some statistics and data, but it must, so I want all of you to start planning for it now, and we would actually would connect on it later. So I would conclude by saying that every challenge is an opportunity. Every crisis brings in a great opportunity, and we seize that opportunity, then we would write a new chapter in the history, not only of DST, but the science and the nation as a whole. Thank you, sir. I would now, sir, we would now have these two presentations. And so I invite first NEB head Dr. Anita Gupta to tell us about the startup scene.
Namaste everyone from the DST family. In the National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, what we have adopted two-pronged strategy, and taking a cue from what Secretary Sir has just highlighted, all our startups, all our incubators have really taken this challenge as a big opportunity and have collectively risen to the occasion. In the first approach, what we have done from 15th of March was all 150 incubators were advised to map the current startup solutions which could be for targeting the various pain points of COVID-19 area. We identified 78 startups who could be providing various solutions, out of which we narrowed down to 20 top solutions, 17 of which have been supported through ongoing NIDHI programs, seed support program as well as Prayas program. So in terms of readiness level, there some of them are already in the market. Just to have a quick glimpse of the solutions, one is Flight Base, which is a drone-based solution already deployed in Ahmedabad and Bangalore. So that's very ion generator, 200 machines for hospitals across Maharashtra, which reduces the viral load. It is a negative ion generator. It reduces the viral load by 99.7%. So these are already in the market. Apart from it, there are silver colloidal-based alcohol-free sanitizers. There are AI-based thermal scanners, AI-based digital X-rays, and also antibody like there's an ANCOP Sense startup module innovations from Pune, which is developing antibody-based rapid testing kit, and it's under POC level. I think within 1 month, if everything goes well, it should be get ICMR approval, and it should be in the market. Upon the second very big program which we initiated by the month end, by precisely on 31st March 2020, was the very aptly named. This is Kavach program. This is a center for actually augmenting war on COVID-19 health crisis. This particular center is stationed currently in one of the best performing incubators, Science IIT Bombay. 826 applications have been received. There are 5 key verticals which we are focusing on, starting from the diagnostic kits.
Anita ji, can you hear me? I think you're breaking up. So I would summarize by saying that your target is to support about 50 startups in a variety of verticals of COVID-19, and these 50 companies are being selected out of some 800 companies, so that is going to be a good selection, and that these are the products which are ready for scale up. That summarizes correctly? So now I would request Dr. Neeraj Sharma to present about activities of Technology Development Board.
Thank you, sir. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Namaskar. Technology Development Board, I think everybody knows, we are the commercialization wing of the Department of Science and Technology. We are into supporting companies which are into indigenization effort or adaptation of technologies from abroad. With the current crisis on COVID-19, we immediately acted, and by 20th of March, we gave a call on technologically innovative solutions by Indian companies to come forward, and the areas that we identified what everybody more or less know about them. They are low cost mass, cost effective thermal scanning, bioinformatics surveillance, rapid and accurate diagnostic kits, and so on, so forth, AI, IoT, etc. So with that, we were very much early in the this activity. 20th of March, we gave a call, and we started receiving applications against that call. Initially, we thought that we would end this call by 30th of March, but we analyzed it, and then we decided that we have to increase this call to 30th of April. So as of now, we have received almost 350 applications. People have registered, companies have registered out of which 210 applications have been received. So we have proactively talked to these companies and develop them into real applications. Our main focus is on delivery of products and commercialization of technologies. So this is the main focus that we are looking at, not merely funding these companies. We want solutions to reach to the public, to the masses. Sir, if I tell you, we started, as soon as we started getting applications, we started finalizing, talking to them proactively. As of now, we have analyzed 50 such companies in two phases, in phase 1 and phase 2. And as Secretary Sir was mentioning, one company, My Labs, which has the approval for diagnostic kits from ICMR, has already been approved by the Technology Development Board for funding support. So in phase 1, we have nearly reached about 6 companies out of 20, and in the second phase, we are reaching about 5 to 6 companies out of 29. So out of 50 companies, we will be having some dozen companies which would get support from the Technology Development Board for products and for technology commercialization by, let us say, 10th of May or 12th of May. Our screening mechanism is very stringent. We are not compromising on quality of the selected process. We have online committees. Because of the requirement of today, we have online screening committees, both high-level evaluation committees and initial screening committees, and experts from IITs, ISC, ICMR, AIMS, DSP, etc. They are all part of these committees. We still have some 100 more companies to be evaluated, and in the phase 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 together, 40 and 60 companies, we would be processing about 100 cases from now on. So it would be around 150 such companies, and we are hoping that we would be about reaching about 20-25 companies for funding support from the Technology Development Board. As far as delivery is concerned, for example, the diagnostic kits, we will be delivering these kits to the ICMR, to them, and many other products to the NGOs, and SEED is our division in Department of Science and Technology, which looks after the societal angle. We would be taking their help in taking the products out of, because many of these companies would be receiving some grants from us and equivalent products, equivalent technologies through the seed mechanism or the society mechanism of DST. We would be using that. Our request finally to conclude to all our AIs is that we require technology solutions, we require companies who, in case they are requiring funding support from the Technology Development Board, may please approach us. We are still open. It is not that the call is closed, because TDB doesn't work on a call basis. 30th April we gave a call end date. However, we are still open for many solutions from the companies. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Neeraj. Indeed, if a company is taking a product from you, from an autonomous institution, an indigenous technology or product, they need to scale it up through a company, it would be a good idea to approach TDB with the proper kind of forms and documentation. Now I invite Professor Sandeep Verma of Science and Engineering Research Board, which has been supporting lots of basic sciences and approaches to COVID-19.
Namaskar, sir. I wish to send felicitations to you and the entire DST family for the 49th Foundation Day. I am representing Science and Engineering Research Board, which is a statutory body under the Department of Science and Technology, supporting R&D initiatives across the country in a variety of disciplines. I'm very happy to share with you that SERB is also a part of PMO's Empowered Committee on COVID for SNT interventions, and that is another way we are trying to pitch in our help toward finding a cure, toward finding interventions for this epidemic. To tell you, to begin with our SERB COVID-19 efforts, we connect to about 100,000 investigators, sir. And with this footprint, we have vigorously followed R&D efforts, and we have tried to mobilize Indian research community through announcement of special research calls to combat coronavirus and related respiratory infections. The first call was conceptualized in the very early phase of the epidemic and announced across the country on March 16, and all COVID-related calls which followed after that have ended on April 30. And I am very pleased to share with you that we have received quite a bit of interest from Indian R&D community, and we are processing thousands of such applications at this moment. So let me start by telling you that we first have created footprints in co-research grant and through intensification of research in high priority areas where we have looked at new and repurposed antiviral drugs, virucidal coatings and PPE, affordable diagnostics, investigational vaccines, pathophysiology of COVID-19, immunity during respiratory infections and disease epidemiology. So in this CRG and AFA research projects, as of now on a rolling basis, we have approved 19 research projects where in PPE and mask vertical, we have supported projects that are intending to create functionalized inanimate surfaces where they can kill virus just by the touch. We will also have efforts on antiviral surface coatings, viral decontamination, and also a computational fluid dynamic study which is going to design a ventilator design for multi-patient use. If you look at antiviral therapy, we are looking at nasal gels, we are looking at global metabolite biomarkers in COVID-19 infected patients. We are also looking at repurposing of approved drugs from drug bank and trying to hit the SARS-CoV-2 main protease as well as genome replicating enzymes. And we are also looking at host-directed response systems where we could focus our repurposed drugs for a beneficial effect against the viral infection. If I were to move to diagnostics vertical, sir, we have supported or we have approved 5 projects which includes a 10-minute paper-based test kit by Agartha Research Institute. We also have screening kits for resource-limited settings, which is going to be very, very important in coming days and months when we have to move these diagnoses to inner portions or to rural area, which will depend on the newer technologies which are the molecular beacons, point of care diagnostics which are based on electrochemical based system that would enable us to determine the virus and its infectivity. One project has come for immunology of infection, which is going to address the immunoepigenetics of the humoral immune response in COVID-19 infected patients from India. And finally, two projects are on vaccines, where one is on subunit or synthetic reconstruction of attenuated vaccine, and another one is on diagnostics and subunit vaccine. And both of these projects have been referred to DBT because, as you would know, that DBT is the department which is currently looking at the vaccine vertical on behalf of all the departments under Ministry of Science and Technology. Sir, I'm also very happy to tell you that we have also announced the call on mathematical and statistical modeling of COVID-19 spread. This call is going to include machine learning, forecasting, and inferences, statistical inferences from the pandemic data. We also challenge our investigators to come up with focused algorithms for disease modeling and also quantitative social sciences approaches to bring in epidemiological models of COVID-19 transmission. What is interesting here is, sir, that we have offered the successful PIs, and about 11 projects have already been selected on the basis of screening, and we have offered our PIs that they can collaborate with IBM and NVIDIA, and both of these giants have offered DST, free computation time that can be used by our PIs to use models. And we're going to also work on groups or expert group, which is going to aggregate all a combined model which could eventually become a national model for coronavirus and its spread, and that can be used in future for identification of hotspots, forecasting, and surveillance. Sir, we like to tell you or share with you that we have informed the community at large and the entire country the success of our projects and these successful projects through our website, through social media handles, and in the print media through PIB releases via DST. And these stories, particularly, sir, are specially written in layman language so that a non-specialist can also understand and appreciate our effort, or DST SERB's effort in coming up with R&D interventions against COVID-19 epidemic. Finally, sir, we are also collaborating with International Division of DST to provide the right opportunity for our successful investigators to collaborate on international platforms with selected countries or the countries who have approached us to work together on this epidemic, and a few calls are in the offing and they will be made available to our community very shortly. I would like to stop here, sir. I would like to sort of pledge that we are going to do all what is possible to our R&D intervention against this epidemic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep. So one special thing is there are many modeling and simulation activities going on in the country and in fact globally. So there are something like 40-50 scientists and groups who are doing modeling from different angles. Now what we said is you continue to do whatever you want individually, but there has to be one national model, which means all these 40-50 groups should come together and give their very specific things so that all the strengths coming from different groups can come into this model and all the weaknesses get removed, and then everybody agrees on one model. Otherwise, the faith in the model, its use is always going to remain a problem. So that is why this is an effort which is nowhere in the world present. So I am very sure that if these 50 people can put their brains together, come up with a single model, we'll have more confidence in using it. And so SERB together with everybody else is going to be doing that. So now I invite Dr. Devpriya Datta from Science for Equity, Empowerment and Development called SEED Division to tell about the activities in about 3 minutes.
So, in view of the COVID-19 outbreak, we issued advisory at the end of March to our network of SNT-based voluntary organizations, Women Technology Park and the STI hubs for SC/ST community, and the Knowledge Organization for immediate interventions for containing the COVID-19 outbreak at community level. As a result, around 5 lakhs three-ply face mask has been produced complying with guidelines of the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor. 15,000 litres of the hand sanitizer following the WHO guidelines, and 5,000 litres of the liquid hand is to be distributed in the most affected in the district. So, self-help groups, the Kisan clubs, and the youth have been mobilized for disseminations of these interventions involving the state rural livelihood missions. Other than the community, we have reached out to 25,000 SC and 55,000 SC populations through these interventions. Apart from preventing the COVID-19 infection, these interventions have also provided the alternate source of livelihood for the women self-help groups. We have brought innovative solutions. 3D printed test shields have been manufactured by Vigyan Ashram, one of the NGOs in the and through open source design, and it has been distributed to 2,500 police personnel and the frontline health workers in Maharashtra, and they are now manufacturing around 400 this type of shield every day.
Just give me a list of all the things, right?
With
numbers and everything, and the targets for this month. Thank you very much. I invite now the Surveyor General of India, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar, to talk about what Survey of India is doing in this.
Namaskar, sir. India, sir, we had already developed one Sahyog mobile app, which is for collection of point of interest. This app was indigenously developed by Survey of India and being managed by Survey of India. Its server is located also in Survey of India campus. It is a location-based service, and the satellite imagery, high-resolution satellite imagery is also integrated along with this. Now, to support in fighting against the COVID-19, this mobile app was modified, and 17 features which are COVID specific, COVID-19 specific, have been integrated. Sport, health centers, sports centers, volunteers, healthcare professionals, quarantine camps, hospitals, travel history, all these fields have been included in our Sahayog mobile app. Now, how we are going to do that through NSDI, there are in 15 states, state special data infrastructure institutions have been established, and we have provided them the API keys, and because they are also doing a lot of work regarding COVID-19. So using this Sahayog mobile app, all these state SSDIs, they have already started collection of the data, and we are sharing and serving this data back to them online through our web feature service and web map service. At present, Uttarakhand and Karnataka, they are very active and they are using it. Other states are in the process of establishing the communication system with us. Similarly, through NRDMS, there are a number of SNT councils, state councils. So we have also started integrating with their activities so that most of the states, they can make use of this Sahayog app. Now, taking it further, sir, through DST, integrated geospatial platform is being developed to leverage on the existing topographical data and the data which is being collected under COVID-19 category. This will not only serve the needs of the present crisis, but also area-specific strategies for socio-economic development, and it will help as a strong decision support system. Now, this Sahayog app is complementing the Arogya Setu app, which is mostly for contact tracing, public awareness, and self-assessment. So both the apps are complementary to each other, not competing with each other. In addition to Sahayog mobile apps, on the request of Government of Haryana, we have inducted 3 drone teams in Haryana to monitor movement of the people, and they are very effectively supporting the state administration. And also, sir, we have spared one 3-story ground plus 3 plus with 100 rooms, which has been identified by the state government at Hyderabad for a quarantine camp for foreign visitors who will be, this building has been handed over to them on 28th March. Sir. And as on today, sir, about more than 1 million points of interest have already been collected, and most of the states will be taking benefit of this. And we are very happy to say that this integrated geospatial platform will definitely make a good decision support system for the country and for administration to further improve their health services delivery system. Thank you, sir.
So, Dr. Padmanabhan, Director of ARCI Hyderabad. Are you there, Dr. Padmanabhan?
Yes, Dr. Sharma.
Yeah, go ahead.
ARCI basically is a laboratory involved in materials research and manufacturing technologies. We have been working actively mainly in the field of solutions to contain the spread of COVID pandemic. The first device that we have fabricated and put to field trials is a ultraviolet C disinfection trolley for disinfecting hospital spaces and any other spaces. And this has been deployed in the ESIC hospital in Hyderabad for field validation, and they are going on. We have geared up along with the industry to make these trolleys in large numbers, but the immediate requirement is in terms of validating the UVC effect on COVID-19 in specific, which we are trying to do along with the CSIR CACMG lab in Hyderabad. But however, in the next step, we will require at the highest level the certification that it is effective and safe for this particular application. Any help from Delhi in terms of accelerating this certification process will help us in deploying the product in the market in a big way. So this is where we seek help. Then using the same principle, the UVC disinfection, we have also made the prototypes of disinfecting the almiras or the racks, as well as we are also approached by Hyderabad airport for creating disinfection systems for baggage, which we are already working on the design, and probably in the next 1 week we'll be able to move forward. The second initiative is on human disinfection or the sanitization through chambers. Here we have chosen electrolyzed water, that is HOCl, as the disinfectant at about 50 to 100 ppm, it is known to be very effective to beat various viruses, bacteria and viruses. We got a in writing recommendation from the DRDO lab INMAS in Delhi that it also is effective on COVID-19. And based on the recommendation, we have made the first prototype of the sanitization chamber and deployed it in ESIC hospital where the field tests are going on. Then the third initiative is using dry heat for disinfection purposes. We have reports that at about 75 degrees centigrade, 90 minutes of exposure can disinfect the surfaces very effectively, especially all the hospital instruments and masks and PPEs and all those things. So we have also designed one chamber using our patented technology of efficient heaters using our ceramic honeycombs, and that prototype is also going to be ready this week. And of course, there is one very small innovation that we have done, the touch-free sanitizer dispensation. One need not touch it, and very small gadget has been done. Apart from this, based on our capabilities in nanomaterials and synthesis techniques, we have also submitted several proposals for vericidal coatings with prolonged antiviral activity on inanimate surfaces to avoid repeated use of surface disinfectant, as well as environmentally disinfectant aerosols, and also nano coatings on medical fabrics. So these are the other initiatives that we have started off and sought funding from the DSTS here.
Professor Asha Kishore?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir, and sorry my power supply got interrupted. With our clinicians, public health experts, scientists, engineers, and technologists, I think we have been able to come together and deliver at this time. About 24 patents have been filed on 12 technologies transferred in the last 3 to 4 weeks. So the themes we undertook our technology development activities were in the field of diagnostics, treatment, as well as prevention of spread of infection through disinfection systems. So in terms of treatment, the first technology that was developed was an emergency respirator or an automated AMBO-based ventilatory support system for emergencies during transportation of patients, as well as it could be used in the hospitals, in the wards if patients did not require high-end mechanical ventilation, or as a prelude to mechanical ventilation till ventilator became vacant to support the patient. This technology, we have filed a patent, and this technology has been taken by Wipro 3D in Bangalore, and the brochures will be out next week, and they will start manufacturing their products in the next 10 days. The prototypes are all ready, and they are planning to have an initial validation in the hospitals of Karnataka and subsequently enter the market. So by the middle of May or the third week of May, we expect them to manufacture these automated respirators in large volumes. In the field of diagnostics, the first product that we developed is an innovative magnetic nanoparticle-based RNA extraction system. As we know, the RNA extraction kits that we have today, most of them are either imported or developed indigenously, but here we have an innovation here using nanoparticles which results in very high concentrated, good quality RNA in the extracts. So this product we have named as Chikra Magna because it's magnetic nanoparticle based RNA extraction, and this technology has been transferred to Agape Diagnostics. This requires only internal validation against the available RNA extraction kits, and they are expecting to get CDSCO's license to manufacture next week and go into production, and they are ready to produce about 20,000 kits per week. The next technology that we developed, actually it is something that we have been doing for the last 3 years thanks to the Technical Research Center for Biomedical Devices program funded by DST in SET. And we have developed a point-of-care device using the LAMP technology recommended by WHO for the diagnosis of TB. And this has been validated in about 2,000 samples in the Public Health Laboratory and Medical College Hospital of Trivandrum, and was found to have 95% sensitivity and specificity. So I proposed to them to try it for COVID diagnosis, and this was done. And they were able to show 100% accuracy in all the laboratory tests, as well as the first validation done at NIV at Alappuzha. This technology is actually novel as a new technology, and fluorescence detection system is being used in this. and also a new gene called N gene, and 2 fragments of the gene, which is what the Center for Disease Control recommends as confirmatory test. So in the initial 450 tests were ordered by ICMR, of which 250 were done. In the interim analysis, we find that in order to detect 2 regions of the gene, we need to recalibrate the machine and set a threshold which is slightly different. So we have requested the ICMR to give us permission to recalibrate the machine or the fluorescence detector and to validate it against a new set of samples. We have again 200 tests remaining. So we are awaiting approval for this, and we hope to get it validated in the next batch. For this also a patent has been filed, the technology has been transferred, there is an industry partner who has gone for the validation, and 2 big corporates have come into the picture. With one of them we may sign as soon as we get to hear of the validation results, the final validation results. Then we also address the problem of the oropharyngeal and nasopharyngeal swabs, for which Dacron is imported from overseas, and there is a shortage of such swabs, and they have to be of high quality and fulfill all the international standards for the collection of viral particles. Our teams, 2 teams in SC, were able to develop very high-end flogged swabs as recommended by the Center for Disease Control, and another one based on a polymer foam, and both have been validated and tested, and they have been actually, the technology was transferred yesterday, it is in the DST news, and 3 companies have taken this, and manufacture is expected to start next week, at least for one of them, which is Lebron from Mumbai, who is all set to start the production. We are also looking at a rapid antibody test kit development, for which all the work is done, but validation in Kerala is becoming difficult because we need active cases in the first one, and we have very few cases now, only 1 or 2 per day, and they are spread across the state. So we are trying to approach Tamil Nadu government to see whether they will validate an antibody kit. Then focusing on the disinfection protocols, we developed an isolation pod, which are transparent, fully encased, lightweight devices in which patients can be transported for investigations as well as to the ambulance and within the hospital itself. And these are negative pressure chambers with HEPA filters, and which is protection for the patient as well as for the caregivers. And this has also been transferred to the Kerala State Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Development for manufacture. The technology has been transferred. Then we have also, like Dr. Padmanabhan said, we have also developed a disinfectant gateway using international guidelines for the use of hydrogen peroxide in very, very safe limits, and fully electronically driven, automated, with hydrogen peroxide as disinfectant, and after the person, it is UV based. And we have done all the testing for the bioburden reduction as well as the safety with animal studies as well as human bioburden reduction, found excellent results. We have submitted it through DST to the ministry to get a waiver so that it does not get categorized with the toxic levels of sodium hypochlorite sprays that were used in some tunnels. So this is for, we also talked to the CDSCO and found that this does not require any special approvals from them. Only the manufacturers have to register on their site and provide the technical details and take responsibility for manufacturing according to the international guidelines. Then we also developed single as well as dual chamber swab collection booths, which protect both the swab collecting health worker as well as providing a private space for the patient from whom it is collected. And the patient's chamber is again filled with HEPA filter as well as negative pressure, so that there is no contamination of the environment. Otherwise, some of the chambers developed have the patients exposed, lying and standing outside and contaminating the neighborhood, and only the swab collecting health worker is protected, whereas this dual chamber will protect both. Then we have also developed another super absorbent which can be added to the canisters which collect secretions from the respiratory secretions from ICU patients. This will solidify the secretions, disinfect it and make it also disposable, easy to dispose, so that the cleaning staff do not come in direct contact with these fluids, the secretions, and there is also no spillage because it is immediately converted into a gel and disinfected. Next, we have also made UV bins for disposing of used masks, because we find a lot of people leave it in the open dustbins or on the road and such things. So in public places as well as hospitals and even in homes, we have separate designs for this. Ultraviolet bins have been developed, and this technology has also been transferred. We also developed a bubble helmet for ventilation instead of very tight nasal mask for patients requiring only non-invasive ventilation. This bubble helmet is like a helmet which is covers the head of the person. It has space around the head, and there is a soft collar which ensures that there is no leakage and the oxygen can be delivered through this. This technology is also there. Then along with the IIT Madras, we have also developed a 4-zone strategy, which is emergency deployable isolation wards, IC units and field hospitals. So we have designed the ICUs, the wards, as well as the hospital-like deployable units along with this company, and this technology also has been jointly developed, and there are several takers for it, but the need probably has not risen in the country, which is good. Then from the hospital side, we have been doing testing for the stage samples. In the last 3 weeks, 2 of our labs have been working full time. 1,200 samples have already been tested. Our transfusion medicine department has already applied for participation in ICMR sponsored study on convalescent plasma therapy in moderate cases of COVID to prevent complications. So informally, we have been told we have got the approval. They needed our ethics committee approval, which we have already submitted. So we plan to participate with the other state hospitals, COVID hospitals, to provide this form of therapy as a research sponsored by ICMR and under its direction. Our public health wing was
Professor Kishore,
yes.
We are a little bit short on time. The institute has done very compelling work. And then perhaps you should, I would request all the directors actually to send me one pager on summarizing all the work which has been done in this direction. We will also then release it as a PIB note for each institute separately. I think there's so much work here, and indeed having a hospital working together with a biomedical science and technology wing is a great advantage indeed. Thank you very much. So I would now request Professor Kulkarni, JNCSR, to tell us about what they have been doing.
Good afternoon, Honorable Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, Secretary DSP Professor Ashwat Sharma and colleagues. I am glad to take part in the meeting and thank you for the opportunity. On behalf of both JNCSR and SENS, wish you all a happy DST Foundation Day. In the next 3 minutes, I would like to summarize recent activities pertaining to COVID-19 taking place at both the institutions which I am representing. At JNC, there are 4 focused activities. The first one pertains to a predictive model for COVID-19, specifically to assist medical preparedness in the country. In fact, this is an initiative of the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Modeling is done locally by Professor Santosh Anshumali, my colleague, joined by colleagues from other institutions. The model is providing already a full layout of the medical inventory needs district by district, including intensive care, acute care, and medical supply requirements. The results from this model, they are already on the website, one can actually view them. As Professor Sharma mentioned, both Professor Sharma and Professor Verma are keen that the entire country comes up with a concerted effort in modeling, and JNC will be actually coordinating that effort in the coming weeks. The second activity relates to an antimicrobial coating to prevent the spread of any type of pathogen, bacterial, fungal or viral. It's actually a simple covalent organic substance developed by my colleague Professor Jayant Halda. It can be coated on textiles and plastics. It works well against influenza virus. The test on COVID-19 is still pending. I've asked for help from colleagues around. And in the meanwhile, the initial production has been taken up by a contract research organization in Bangalore. JNC has also launched a short-term residential training course, 1-week course on laboratory diagnosis of COVID-19. Although we are not teaching dealing with the live COVID-19 virus, but the training should impart necessary training, it should give necessary training to young graduates with medical or MLT background to enable them to take up diagnostic work at hospitals. Whatever we do should add to the health workforce, which is much needed, as we all admit, that is much needed in the country. The course will begin with its first batch from May 15th and is being coordinated by my colleague, Professor Ranga Uday Kumar, who is a virologist. We do have a stem cell research group at JNC, and this group is led by Professor Manish Nanda, who has taken up an activity related to generation of lung organoids through stem cell research to supply to various laboratories for studying, modeling and studying COVID-19, and the study is in its initial stages. In the next half minute which I am left with, I would like to mention an important contribution from Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, where I, joined by few of my colleagues, have designed an inexpensive face mask for common use. The novel feature of this mask is that it contains an electrostatic barrier which should restrict pathogen transmission. The barrier is triboelectric in nature, and therefore it doesn't require any external power. And further tests are on as far as the pathogens are concerned. And in the meanwhile, we have set up a small scale production, and a company from Kolkata will be producing the mask on a larger scale in the next 2 weeks. I think I'm almost done with this brief summary. I'll conclude here. Thank you all once again.
Thank you. ये जिन्होंने मास्क बनाया सर बहुत इनोवेटिव है। उसके अंदर क्या है कि वो एक तरह का फैब्रिक अंदर लगाया, दूसरी तरह का बाहर लगाया, तो उनके रबिंग से एक इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक चार्ज पैदा होता है और वो वायरस को किल कर देता है। सो नो केमिकल, ओनली फिजिकल फोर्सेस।
आपसे बताना था, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जो बनाया।
अच्छा वो अच्छा इसी बात कर रहे सर।
मैंने पढ़ा था कुछ समथिंग लाइक दैट, आई वाज नॉट श्योर कि व्हाट इट इज, मे बी दिस वाज अबाउट दिस वन।
हाँ ये हो सकता है सर, वो उसमें इलेक्ट्रिक चार्ज होने से उसको वो ब्लास्ट कर देता है वायरस। सर ये हाँ तो कुलकर्णी, कैन यू सेंड सम सैंपल मास्क? Can you?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, please send. How many are you going to send?
I can easily send 10 of them in the next 2 days.
Okay, wonderful. And this company, when would they start making it?
They are right now working on the design. The paperwork is done. They are working on the design, and so they are hopeful in the next 2 weeks they should be able to begin.
Wonderful. And what is the estimated cost for this mask? What is the estimate?
The material cost is around 8 rupees.
How much?
So commercial one is 8 rupees per piece.
8 rupees.
Only 8.
The material cost.
Only sir, fabric तो यही है, पर उसका creative use किया है, जिससे कि can you just tell very quickly what are the 3 fabric layers?
That's right. So 3 layers. The first layer is actually the ordinary cloth with very few threads.
Right.
So that it is on the skin. Second one is nylon, and third one is polypropylene.
Okay.
Commonly available in expensive clothing. When nylon and polypropylene come and there is some rubbing going on, you will have the charge developed.
Right.
These are tribo-positive and tribo-negative layers.
Right. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So moving on, Dr. Vipin Kumar, Director, National Innovation Foundation. What is the success of your call, and what kind of ideas have emerged or in the process? Please tell us very quickly in 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, sir. In the last week of lockdown, we see that the people in the rural area, everywhere, basically the women are having lots of ideas, and those ideas we found very essential, and we have given a call. Challenge COVID-19 companies seriously, and we asked them to and their ideas. In addition to that, we have also made a list of some of the companies which were coming to us and they were exploring some technologies. So we decided that we'll also keep the companies in the screening process so that these innovations could go very fast to the market. Sir, I'm coming to the point that today 1,300 citizens have participated in this competition, and they are from all over India. 32 are the aspirational districts also. Some of the technologies which we are developing with the companies is one sanitizer bracelet, which is having some sanitizer gel, and you will push it and the gel will come to your palm. So then hands-free object for opening and closing of doors without touching them. Then currency note sanitizer wallet, disposable cap for fingertips. They are very cheap in fact, and then you need not to touch, with the parts of fingers. Manual operated contactless soap and sanitizer and water dispensers. So two different companies are working on them, and low cost devices we are able to make. In fact, some of the test devices have given to municipal corporations and other organizations, and they are finding them very useful. Low cost remote operated sanitizing machine and physical distance sensors for maintaining the social distancing. Sir, all the technology that cannot reach to the companies, so we have developed a web link that do it yourself kind of technology we could put on that portal, and anybody from the common people or some small companies could copy this technology, so that people will be able to contribute toward this COVID pandemic, protection of people COVID pandemic. So this is in fact, in addition to that, we did some awareness building program also. We have developed some films, animation films, which we put on social media, on our websites, and they are becoming popular. We put get some, in local languages also, and giving to some rural areas in Gujarati, so that people could see and could get them how they can protect themselves.
Thank you, Vipin. Invite Professor Samit Kumar Ray from SN Bose National Center. Please summarize in 2 minutes.
Sure. Good afternoon, sir, and greetings to my colleagues from DST on the occasion of the Foundation Day of the DST. Sir, scientists of the SN Bose Center have developed a nanomedicine using citrate functionalized manganese oxide nanoparticles. The medicine is quite generic in nature, based on the precise control of the redox process in our human cells and works against the virus. We know that immune cells in our human body naturally produces reactive oxygen species, it's called ROS, or generate oxidative stress to attack against the virus and kills the infected cells in the human body. So this developed medicine, what it does, it produces a controlled increase of ROS level in the immune cells and helps the immune cells to fight against this virus attack by breaking the chain of the virus spread. In fact, this idea has also been proposed by some of the groups in the medical groups in USA. They are proposing that local use of hydrogen peroxide, which is a source of ROS. They recommended that even the hydrogen peroxide can be used for surviving being against COVID-19, and we can use by using a nebulizer to use the hydrogen peroxide. But as we know that direct use of the hydrogen peroxide is not recommended. It can also damage a lot of other cells, good cells, living cells. So we feel that if these nanomedicines definitely may work better in case of for generating the additional ROS level. Till now the medicine, as I said, is very generic. It has not been done for the COVID one. It has been to break the bilirubin structure in jaundice and kidney infection diseases in animals. For protection against COVID-19, we need to be tested against SARS-CoV-2 structure virus strain, which of course we don't have any facility. We have to collaborate with some of the biology lab or virology lab to see that whether it works for the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Of course, we have to work also on the selective use by designing some kind of new ligands so that it can be selectively used against SARS virus. In fact, we have already started some computational work on the system biology so that we can design some ligands so that it can be selective against SARS-CoV-2. So this is a contribution from the SN Bose Center. We don't have really a biology lab or virology lab. We don't have a RT-PCR. So definitely we are looking for collaboration. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Not everything is done with RT-PCR. You're doing okay. Just continue on that path. So now, I think the last one is TIFEC Director, Executive Director, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava would in 2 minutes summarize us what is your white paper in terms of technology roadmap beyond the virus.
Minister sir, it's a privilege for me to present unto you the initiatives which TIFEC has taken in the last 1.5 months. In fact, we all are aware that the pandemic COVID-19 has exposed the whole, not only the country, but the whole globe to an unprecedented challenge with very severe socio-economic consequences. And with this understanding, and our Honorable Prime Minister has given a call, a clarion call, which says that to use the crisis as an opportunity. So TIFEC undertook an activity of defining a white paper which will address the socio-economic profiling of the country. We know this white paper brings about the understanding, evaluates and defines the impact of the pandemic and on Indian economy, and suggests policymakers and public with guidance of steps that can be taken to mitigate the widespread economic shock and spearhead the Indian economy. Obviously, this has technology impetus, and the white paper has a focus on sectors which are crucial for socio-economic perspective of India, like manufacturing sector, equipment, machines, electronics manufacturing, textiles, pharma, human health sector, agriculture and ICT. This document also suggests new models of recovery of Indian economy post-COVID-19. The road to national economy recovery would traverse through the measures like policy support to unconventional strategies, leveraging into new international partnership with important sectors of agriculture, electronics, ICT and health, and to provide new technology stimulus. The white paper captures specific strengths of technologies, the strengths, the market trends and the opportunities in these 5 sectors. We are also trying to identify the collaborating partners who can give in the required technology stimulus, and we have also understood like the understanding of the market sizes, the export trends, the identification of MSME clusters and the collaborating institutions and Indian competencies and technology trends which have been pinned very precisely in this white paper. The recommendations are development of technology clusters in champion segments, development of incubation startup highways, and to build a monetization exchange, and to identify and support and pilot 10 blockbuster technologies that can be taken up post-COVID-19 to address Indian economy, and to collaborate with the new dynamics and with incubators of Israel and Germany, etc., and using of modern technologies like AI, ML and IoT technologies. So with this, the TIFEC also identified like a follow-up mechanism to be taken up, wherein we intend to have thematic brainstorming sessions to understand the sector, the impact on these sectors and how to take the road ahead. With these words, this white paper is read. We are submitting to DST and to Government of India to take further activities there, recommended there. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Kalachand Sen, Director of Wadia Institute. Could you please summarize in 1 minute?
Sir, thank you very much, Honorable Minister and Secretary. Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, please go ahead quickly.
Sir, at Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology, we are not doing directly to combat the COVID-19, but we are studying the impact of the lockdown due to COVID-19, as evidence from the cleanliness of the river water, as evidence from the reduction in the air pollution, as well as we have also observed reduction in the ground noise level, which generally as a geophysicist and geologist, we record seismological data to understand the earthquake processes. So at our institute, we have planned for 3 objectives. First objective, to understand the riverine system. In the riverine system, what happens that due to the weathering and degradation, lot of material come to the plane as well as in the ocean, and they get dissolved as well as suspended. And these can come either due to the anthropogenic activity caused by the industrial or domestic waste, or by the natural process. So the natural process we define geogenic, and the man-made process we call anthropogenic. So now this, due to the lockdown, this anthropogenic activity has been halted. Therefore, we can quantitatively estimate what are the contribution coming from the geogenic and what is the contribution we are getting from the anthropogenic. So this is the activity we have started. Second activity we have started, we have observed some of the seismogram and seen that some of the small magnitude earthquakes which were not evident earlier onto the seismogram due to the heavy noise, but because of the lockdown, the noise level has come down and we are seeing that event, and that event will help us to understand some of the minute structure of the earth as well as to understand the earthquake processes. This is the second thing. Third thing, we have a lot of instruments that measure the atmospheric pressure, and using that we can see there is a reduction in the carbon monoxide, SOx, and these are the greenhouse gas, and we are studying that what impact it can make onto the glaciological research at Wadia Institute. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. This is in a brief 3 activities we are going to start after the lockdown will be lifted, and we like to compare the data during the lockdown, before the lockdown, and after the lockdown.
Yeah, fantastic. This is such a big opportunity. It's a terrestrial scale experiment which is never otherwise possible, shutting down human activity. Even I don't know if an Institute of Geomagnetism can do some work to detect if the signals of geomagnetic signals change in what way and stuff. It's a kind of opportunity comes once only in 100 years to do those kind of experiments. So the last one, now we would be moving to release this, and so National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Dr. Manoj Patiria. Please go ahead, but limit it to minute and a half, and then we release this.
Good afternoon, sir. We in National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Department of Science and Technology, working for various aspects of science communication. We have started a program for year-long activities on various aspects of health and risk communication, especially called YASH, Year of Awareness on Science and Health. The program focuses on 3 aspects. 1, development of software material, including print, electronic, digital, folk, and interactive medium, where we are planning to take all these activities all across the country, developing capacities for various aspects of science communication, including health and risk communication. And number 3, outreach and dissemination. We will be involving State Council of Science and Technologies, we are involving media houses, we are involving CSIR laboratories, GST laboratories, all network, as well as our volunteers who have been trained over the period for science and health communication across the country, including NGOs. As part of this program, we have brought out a multimedia guide that you are kind enough to give the forward for this. And this guide especially is a digital platform which can function on mobile, smartphones, tablets, computer desktop, as well as laptop, wherever you are on the move through internet connectivity. And it also includes various websites, including WHO, including Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Department of Science and Technology, and not only scientific aspects, we have also tried to entertain people in the time of a lot of stress people are facing. So we have included some folk songs also, like one folk song from Brij Bhasha. If time permits, I will take you through that. And Bundelkhandi song, and one song prepared by the Bollywood actors. Similarly, the last page that connects the website of Health and Family Welfare, that gives the update that everybody is eager to watch what is the status of today. So every day it is updated. So this is a kind of digital platform that we are going to disseminate through various government organizations, international organizations, DST network, all scientific networks, academic networks all around the country and even beyond. Sir has suggested GovIn, so we will be placing this on GovIn site also. and all through our all volunteers, they will go to the their various stakeholders with the devices wherever they can by maintaining the social distance, etc. And they will try to educate people on that.
Okay, very good. So,
Thank you, sir.
I think we'll just click. Here.
Sir, this is the content page. How to click on that?
I'll just make.
Which content page you want to open?
Yes, I think we have to click.
Yeah, so click.
The mouse.
Show the demonstration.
Sir, suppose if we want to see the forward, we will click over here, and this will take to the forward, and then this is the content. This is a to Z of various aspects of this COVID-19.
Can you go to one of them?
For example, if we go to Arogya, then it will take, it will depict some caricatures and some sign tones with very interesting manner, like Arogya, antidote, antibiotic, Arogya Setu app, and a very interesting language that is comprehensible to the common man. We are also coming up with a Hindi version of this. Like Arogya Setu, if we connect over here, it will take to the page of Arogya Setu, where one can download it.
So everything there at the bottom are the links.
Yes. Sir, this is the Twitter handle that you have launched for COVID-19, COVID Seva.
So all the information,
all these things will be connected
to this.
And similarly, if we go further, like this lockdown. So this carries a beautiful folk song telling about the various aspects of COVID-19, including fomites, how one can get infected.
कोरोना महामारी के आतंक से ग्रसित है। बुंदेली भाषा में गाड़ी की लय पर प्रस्तुत यह गीत रचना चंद्र प्रकाश पटसारिया द्वारा गाई गई है। सुनिए। एक वृद्धा माँ अपने बेटे को लॉकडाउन की परिस्थितियां समझाते हुए अपनी बात कुछ इस तरह से गीत के माध्यम से कह रही है। मेरी बात मानियो बेटा, लला न तुम बाहर जइयो, वायरस ना चिपकाए लइयो। मेरी बात मानियो बेटा, लला न तुम बाहर जइयो, वायरस ना चिपका लइयो। इम्यून तंत्र तुम्हारो ऐसे हरदम बचन उचारो, पर मरबो हो जाए हमारो। कोविड-19 लग आवे, कोविड-19 लग आवे, कहूँ ना हाथ छुइयो, वायरस ना चिपका लइयो। लोहा प्लास्टिक कपड़ा पावे, वायरस इन सब पे जुड़ जावे। ये चीजें फोमाइट कहावे, संक्रमण से को न बचे है, संक्रमण से को न बचे है। ना फोमाइट बन जइयो, लला न तुम
in WhatsApp groups we can circulate.
डिजिटल है तो कोई सारे दुनिया को हो सकता है। इसकी तो कोई कॉपी वॉपी कागज वागज
बिल्कुल नहीं, डिजिटल है सर, ईमेल से और इससे।
Thank you.
Dr. Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Madam Anju Bhalla ji, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta ji, Dr. Manoj Kumar Pataria ji, all the distinguished senior scientists who are with me right now through this video conference meeting, Dr. Anita Gupta, Dr. Neeraj Sharma, Professor Sandeep Verma, Dr. Devapriya Datta, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar ji, Dr. Asha Kishore, Dr. Padmanabham, Dr. Kulkarni, Dr. Vipin Kumar, Dr. Samit Kumar Ray, Dr. Pradeep Srivastav, Dr. Sen. I think that's all. And I'm sure that there must be many more scientists accompanying these HODs there on the other side. And we have some friends who are helping me in the smooth execution of this video conference, and also our friends here from the media are also here. So let me first of all thank you all for being with me today on a Sunday, and of course this is more than me, it is your occasion. I have been with the Science and Technology Ministry now for almost the 6th year, but you have been there for almost 40-50 years. So it's more of your function today and it's later on my function. And as I could understand, although you are saying this is your 49th Foundation Day, but as far as I can appreciate, it is the 50th Foundation Day. You will complete 50 years next year on 3rd May. And actually it is the 50th Foundation Day, because the first one was on 3rd of May 1971, and this is the 50th, but you will complete 50 years next year on 3rd May. So technically I think if we have to say that this is the 50th Foundation Day, or the starting or the beginning of the 50th year since you got birth in 1971. And 1971, that time of May, I remember I was in school, but that was a very historic year, and we had just, I think in March itself, we had won the Indo-Bangladesh War, and this was a great year for India, 1971. So I'm rather surprised that immediately after that war, this department was born within 2 months of that historic event in India's history. So anyway, these 50 years have been very, very, I think, successful for all of us, because when I try to evaluate now today, just an important parameter how you assess your progress. So it's only about America and China which are ahead of us in terms of our scientific publications in Science Citation Index journals. That's I think big success story for us. We are in nanotechnology also, we are number 3 in the whole world, and we now have very strong intentions to in the next 1 decade, this particular decade, we want to become the top 3 scientific nations of the whole world. That's the desire of the Prime Minister, that's his passion also, that's the type of support that he gives to all of us. And we have now so many schemes. Today the Department of Science and Technology is the main focus area in science, where everyone in the country looks towards DST for all types of guidance, all types of support, all types of funding. and we are probably the biggest or the most powerful extramural funding agency for whether it is the universities, whether it is the young students or the startups, whether it is a school student or a college student or a post-doctoral person, or for developing of these incubation centers or incubation science technology parks. For everything, people look towards science and technology. And through our technology development board and SERB, we are supporting, in fact, everyone in this country. Our scholarships start from, I think, class 6th, and we have a few lakh scholarship for students. We have the new programs like Nidhi, Manak, Avsar, and so many now, I think. And then, of course, recently, big programs like National Cyber Physical Mission, which is an interdisciplinary cyber physical system, which has been launched with a total outlay of 3,660 crores. We had earlier the National Computing Mission also, that was also about 4,500 crores. Then a lot of projects around clean energy, water, climate change research, 30-meter telescope. So I can recall so many things. And recently this our Finance Minister had announced in the latest budget the National Mission on Quantum Technology and Application. So these are just some of the things that I recall, but there are so many other things that are happening in science, and with our active collaboration with more than 44 countries, and I think the total collaboration goes on up to 84 countries all across the world. And nowhere in the whole world we now feel that we are inferior to anybody else. So on many issues we guide the rest of the people, whether it is with Israel or whether it is with America or with England or with South Korea. Wherever we talk science to our counterparts, we have that confidence and we have that knowledge and experience, and we share so many good things, and there are so many mutual agreements which are working. So but the happiest thing for me today is that in the last couple of days and weeks I have had a number of meetings here in this room. I spoke to all the directors in CSIR of all our 38 labs. I spoke to all the biotechnology people, the various laboratories, and then today I am speaking to you also. I think it's an unbelievable story that everyone has risen to the occasion, and it's almost on everything. Whether it is drug discovery, or whether it is about repurposing of drugs research, or whether it is development of vaccine, or for all these new, I think, hospital assistive things, whether it is for good quality diagnostic kits. Now, it was told that there is a Sahyog app also assisting the Arogya Setu app, and many other things. I wish I could talk about each and everything that this Shri Chitra lamp is very much in the news about, and then many other things. And last week I had a meeting with the biotechnology people, and earlier with the CSIR. So they promised me that our people, like here also it was mentioned that we are supporting labs like my labs and all. They are all going to give us very soon kits. As a health minister, I feel that I am not alone handling COVID, but it is the whole lot of scientific community which is trying to find out fantastic COVID-19 solutions to mitigate the pandemic. And as you are all aware that India is the first country in the whole world to have started responding to the news of the arrival of coronavirus in this world. it was on 7th of January that China had declared to the whole world that they saw this new coronavirus which was causing cases of pneumonia, and we had our technical experts meeting here in the Health Ministry on 8th January itself, and then a series of actions, whether it was detailed health advisories to people, whether it was community health surveillance, whether it was about point of entry surveillance at airports, seaports and borders, and then later on you have seen yourself the huge activity around lockdown, etc., etc. And the results are there for all of us to see that we are ahead of everyone else in the whole world. Our parameters speak for themselves. Today itself we have a doubling rate of 12, the lowest mortality in the whole world, just about 3%. Already over 10,000 people have gone back home perfectly cured, happy, and majority of our patients in the hospitals, they are on their road to recovery. So it's like, and the whole country, we know where our enemy is. How do we deal with our enemy? What are the weapons in our armory? And we can easily, pinpointedly decide upon the extent and the type of containment strategies that we have to adopt. The whole country is very well divided into the red zone and the orange zone and the green zone. And then all this, of course, having the backing of scientists, and the scientists who are working day and night and who have already brought so many things. It's the new types of masks, the new types of sanitizers, the new discovery on road to vaccine. Also, we are quite ahead of the rest of the world. And now there's just now it was told some electrostatic mask and many things like that. So I'm sure that your support is going to mean a lot, and it will be a historic contribution for our fight against COVID. The only thing that I wish to say is that because since I have been hearing scientists working at different levels in different laboratories and within our own department also, there are similar things being done by many people. So like earlier also, our focus used to be to have a good quality synergy and coordination in the efforts that we are making. So it should not be that we are only confined to our own laboratories working on specific issues, but we should also be aware of what is happening all across India in our own laboratories, what are our other scientists doing, and what is the international community doing. And there should be a synergy about all this. I am sure that this is going to give us rich dividends, and in a very not far too distant future, we should be able to handle the COVID pandemic in a very successful manner. And now this COVID Katha that has been developed by the Department of Science Communication within our ministry, and there too their focus is now on science and health. And I myself, who has always worked for health but had the privilege to work for science in last 6 years, I know that science, the upper end of, you can say, higher side of health is basically in science itself. All the research and all it goes on in science. So if there is a good quality association between health and science, we can certainly produce fantastic results for the you can say for improving the lives of the people. And this COVID Katha, with all you see information regarding COVID being said in very, very simpler ways, will certainly help the people. Because I have, as a health minister and also as a doctor, I have felt that dealing with COVID is not a bit any rocket science. It is just about very small precautions. But my only worry is that on this side of the meeting, I find everyone in this room wearing a mask. But on the other side, when I see all of you, the big scientists and the big directors, I don't see any one of you wearing a mask. And that creates a bit of a worry for me, because if you are not wearing a mask, then the message goes down that mask is probably a showpiece. But I can tell you this, only this mask can save us from COVID. Only this mask and washing hands and just taking care of this bit of precaution can actually save us from. Otherwise, none of you is immune from COVID. You may be a big scientist, you may be producing weapons to kill COVID every day, but COVID is not going to spare you if you don't give COVID even this much of respect, that you are going to wear a mask just to be aware of the presence of COVID in the country. So that's, I think, very, very essential. And through our science, technology, communication systems, we will make this COVID Katha and the information about this also very popular. The only thing that I would love to emphasize is that we are running against time, and whatever we produce in our laboratories, we have to keep the aspect of timeliness within our minds, because if we devise something a year later or 2 years later, like we have enough of time when we do routine research, we can go on and produce a result after few months or few years. But here you have to find out whatever you are doing, you have to see that you produce the result, and with the help of industry convert that into a movement and deliver whatever you have produced to the people of India, so that the fight against COVID becomes most effective. So that is, I think, the need of the hour. With these few words, I would love to thank all of you, congratulate all of you, and wish you all good luck. And once again, all my good wishes on the 50th Foundation Day of our Department of Science and Technology. And I will also like to use this occasion to basically convey the good wishes of our Honorable Prime Minister. And we know that we are going to bring about a cabinet note in the near future about scientific social responsibility. And this is the point that the Prime Minister has been emphasizing time and again, that only doing research and producing a paper is not enough, but I think connecting that with the people of India and putting that to the maximum benefit of the people of India is also of utmost importance. And that is where we need to have a sense of a scientific social responsibility. And I'm sure that with the cabinet note, this particular aspect will also get institutionalized within not our departments but also in the society and for all the stakeholders. So once again, thank you so much, and don't forget to wear a mask, whether you are inside the lab or whether you are outside the lab, on the road or inside your home. This is utmost, I think, necessary. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. It is indeed my proud privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks on behalf of the entire DST family and on my own behalf to respected Honorable Minister for gracing the occasion today and sharing his very valuable time from the extremely busy schedule and amidst the war that he is leading against the COVID-19. In fact, thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom, and especially that you mentioned that everywhere, every time we must wear the mask, and we should be examples of others. And also, as you mentioned, that we should, as scientists, we should find quick solution and get this delivered to the public for use. So we are greatly indebted to you, sir. We are also grateful to Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary DST, for his constant guidance and direction. In fact, throughout these 40 days, he has been leading DST family, in a big way in fight against COVID. So we are thankful to you, sir. We are extremely thankful to all the directors and heads of organizations who had joined today through EC. And this is kind of another example that I think post-COVID scenario also, we should have this kind of virtual conferences more often and to get the guidance of Honorable Minister. So thank you all. To my all colleagues in DST for joining us on this virtual conferencing. In fact, our DST media team is working. They're on VC and they're producing some of the live, in fact, social media content. So we are thankful to them. So I thank everybody here. Thank you very much.
देखिए, आज हमारा डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का 50th फाउंडेशन डे है। आज ही के दिन 1971 में डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का जन्म हुआ था और ये 50वां वर्ष जन्म के बाद आज प्रारंभ हुआ है। आज यहाँ अपने साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के सेक्रेटरी और अन्य अधिकारियों के साथ हमने वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से देश के कुछ प्रमुख जो हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनके हेड्स के साथ एक वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस किया है और विशेष रूप से उन लोगों को हम लोगों ने कनेक्ट किया जो लोग पिछले कुछ ही समय में कोविड-19 के खिलाफ जो लड़ाई है उसमें वैज्ञानिक किस प्रकार से अपनी प्रयोगशालाओं के माध्यम से इस लड़ाई को और अधिक मजबूत कर रहे हैं। हमारा साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी जो है आज भारत का, ये दुनिया में इसका बहुत ऊंचा स्थान हो गया है। चीन के और अमेरिका के बाद भारत जो है तीसरे स्थान पर आज है, जो कि दुनिया के प्रतिष्ठित जर्नल्स में अपने साइंस के पब्लिकेशंस भेजता है और उसकी गणना होती है। इसी प्रकार से तीसरे नंबर पर नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी में है और अभी कोविड के ख़िलाफ़ लड़ाई में हमारे डीएसटी के लोग हों, चाहे हमारे बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के लोग हों, चाहे हमारे CSIR के लोग हों, ये सब लोग नई दवा खोजने से लेकर नई वैक्सीन बनाने तक, नए नए स्टार्टअप्स को प्रोत्साहन देने तक, नई नई इंडस्ट्रीज़ को प्रोत्साहन देने तक, समाज के नए नए लोगों को नए कोविड के ख़िलाफ़ कोविड-19 सॉल्यूशंस प्राप्त करने के लिए, नए नए इनोवेटिव आइडियाज़ विकसित करने के लिए, उनको सपोर्ट करने के लिए, नए ऐप्स बनाने के लिए और फिर जो कोविड के संदर्भ में जानकारी जन जन तक पहुंचानी है उसको मॉडर्न साइंटिफिक तरीके से और हेल्थ का कॉम्बिनेशन करके ये कोविड कथा के माध्यम से डिजिटल तरीके से देश के लाखों करोड़ों लोगों तक पहुंचाने का काम और नए नए जो हॉस्पिटल में असिस्ट करने वाले डिवाइस हो सकते हैं, नए किस्म के मॉडर्न मास्क हो सकते हैं, सैनिटाइज़र हो सकते हैं, जो डायग्नोसिस कोविड का वायरस करने के लिए जो नए जिसे कहते हैं मैग्नेटिक लैंप डिवाइस विकसित किए हैं जो नैनो पार्टिकल्स को पिकअप करते हैं और नई टेक्निक से जो है डायग्नोसिस करते हैं। इस तरह की बहुत सारे काम जो है हमारी लेबॉर्ट्रीज़ में हो रहे हैं। जेनेटिक सीक्वेंसिंग हो रही है, वायरस के बारे में विस्तार से ज्ञान प्राप्त किया जा रहा है और जो भी चीज़ें शायद लैब में कम से कम समय के अंदर विकसित हो सकती हैं उनको इंडस्ट्री के माध्यम से समाज के लोगों के लिए उपलब्ध कराया जा सकता है। आपने अभी देखा कि 1.5 घंटे तक कम से कम 11-12 विषयों पर हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने बताया कि उन्होंने क्या क्या काम किया है। विस्तार से इस बाइट में चर्चा नहीं हो सकती, लेकिन हमें हमारे वैज्ञानिकों के ऊपर गर्व है उनकी प्रतिभा और योग्यता के ऊपर गर्व है और हमें पूरा विश्वास है कि जिस प्रकार से हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट को सारे सरकार का मदद मिल रहा है, उसी प्रकार से उसको हमारे सभी वैज्ञानिकों का भी पूरा सपोर्ट मिल रहा है कोविड के खिलाफ लड़ाई को सफलतापूर्वक जीतने में। मैं आज फाउंडेशन डे जो 50वां है DST का, इस अवसर पर देश के सभी वैज्ञानिकों को अपनी ओर से भी और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की ओर से ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ।
सर, आज सेना ने कोरोना वॉरियर्स को जिस तरह से सलामी दी, क्या
नहीं, ये तो देखिए बहुत गर्व की बात है और सेना के लोग तो खुद ही सलामी के इतने हकदार हैं कि सारा देश उनको 365 दिन सलामी देता है। आज अगर हम देश में हर समय चैन की नींद अगर सोते हैं रात को, तो उस कारण से सोते हैं कि हमारे सेना के जवान, हमारे एयरफोर्स के, नेवी के लोग वो दिन रात जो है वो जगते हैं। और जो लोग खुद इतनी बड़ी सलामी के हकदार हैं और जिनको सारा देश हर समय सलाम करता है, उन्होंने आज हवा में हवाई जहाज उड़ाकर और हवाई जहाज के माध्यम से फूल बरसाकर जो है कोरोना वॉरियर्स को, हमारे जो डॉक्टरों को, दूसरे हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, जो हमारे पुलिसकर्मी जो कोरोना वॉरियर्स की तरह काम कर रहे हैं, इन सबको उन्होंने जो है सम्मानित किया, अभिनंदन किया है। मैं देश के स्वास्थ्य मंत्री के रूप में उनका धन्यवाद भी करता हूं, उनका अभिनंदन भी करता हूं और उनको नतमस्तक होकर प्रणाम भी करता हूं।